power-packed, this word, love and self-love. They go hand in hand. They're like this. They're not separate. Nothing is separate. Love and self-love come from the same root. Deficiency. I use the word deficiency, but just a lack of love, lack of self-love, lack of the re-understanding of love, the remembering of love. True, pure love with no conditions. Let's dive right into this. When we speak of love, what feeling comes up? Close your eyes. When I say love, when you say love to yourself, what does it do? What do you feel inside? Do you get excited? Do you get confused? What emotions come up? Love holds so many different versions of itself to each different person because we've created what love is through creating conditions, through experiences we've had in our lives. So let's dive right into love and how this works and get into self-love, where the lack comes from, why we beat ourselves down, why we choose to hold conditions towards love and giving love and receiving love. Love is, if I could say this, the currency of the universe. As you begin to awaken and remember, you begin to remember that everything is built, born, and created through and from love. You exist in pure love. You were born from pure love. We then separated off and started to play our own game of ego separation and create separation, basically, with the word and with everything in our life. We separated ourselves from people, places, things, our true self. This is why we're here. We're here doing this video. This is why we're here remembering. We're here to remember. If we go back to when we were kids, if you can go back to the farthest place as a child you can remember, or if you have a child, you can see that in the first few years of this child's life, it's just pure love. That's all they know. That's all they feel. It's it. It's just pure, unconditional love. And I'll say unconditional. I'm not going to use it as something is unconditional love. We're going to use the word unconditional to go with the word love. When you're a child, you're just wide-eyed, wide open, and just receiving everything. And we're just accepting everything because we naturally just trust everything. We assume, as a child, everything is just perfect. It is what it's supposed to be, and it is, in truth. But as we grow up, we start to get shut down here and there. We start to be called names. We get judged. We start to grow up and we start to have our own opinions. We start to voice these opinions. We get shut down again, maybe by parents, friends, teachers. Doesn't matter who it is, TV, movies. We start to build belief systems. We start to create new concepts. So now we've gone from being a child and we're moving into adolescence and things like that, and we're starting to become our own self. And now we have all these other opinions coming in from all these other places because the chances are in our life we've spoken our truth and been shut down. Once, twice, 50 times, it just keeps going. The more we allow that to happen, the more we start to create conditions and create stories and create all these things. And this is where conditions and things come from love. True love holds no conditions. True love is being able to say, I love you with all of your being to anything in existence, person, place, or thing, no matter what, who they are, what they've done, because anything else is a judgment. If we hold judgment, we're not holding any compassion. If we hold judgment, we're holding a low vibration. Love can't be judged and shouldn't be judged and won't be judged. True love is not judged. True love is not holding any condition or any, well, if you don't this, if you don't that, or if they haven't done that, they don't love me. There's none of this. That's like all conditions. I know that almost any one of us, we can say that we've held back saying the word love in a relationship, or didn't want to be the first person, or receiving that felt weird and uncomfortable, and maybe it played with us, and we were like, oh, I can't be with this person, it's scary, it's fearful. Why is that? Where do all these emotions come from with love? Love is the most pure feeling there is. It's everything. When you've had an experience of unconditional love, which we can find with dogs and animals and all kinds of beautiful people, places, and things in our lives, like grandparents, like these moments, you have these moments of unconditional love where nothing else matters and nothing could ever break that. Well, that's how everything should be all the time. But we've gone and changed that for ourselves through separation, through creating stories, through the experiences we hold and not dealing with them with the proper understanding of how to release in the moment. So we're now growing up and we're creating stories based on what love is. Maybe we've been shut down by someone a bunch of times, and we start to feel like they don't love us. That's a story we're making up. That's just a story. It's not real. No stories are real. Anything that's not in the present moment isn't real anymore. It's done. And when I say real, it's we have the present moment. We either deal with it or we bury it. We've been burying things our whole lives because we haven't known. No one sat there and told us when we were kids, hey, if you don't deal with this right now, it's going to bury itself energetically inside of you and want to come up through your whole entire life through repetitive thoughts and all these ways of trying to come out. It's always trying to show us through our repetitive thoughts or through an experiences. We have repetitive relationship experiences. Why do we have those? Why do we end up in the same relationship with virtually the same person every time? They just look different, but they're coming in with the same things that trigger us and bother us. Well, why is that? That's because we hold stories from the past relationships, past interactions, things like that, and we haven't dealt with them properly. So now we're taking them from relationship to relationship. They're building into our identity. This is where lack of self-love comes from too, because we hold all these stories, and as we grow, we build these stories inside. Maybe someone called us stupid, ugly, whatever. They had no right to judge us in that moment, but we didn't know that. So we took on that judgment. I was bad I wasn't bad, I don't use the word bad. I was big on this. I held everything in. I took everything everyone said as truth. I believed what they were saying to me. If I was called stupid or idiot, anything like that, I took that on, and I really took that on. I was, as a child, I felt very sensitive to everything, and I allowed it to shut me down. I got shut down enough times where I just allowed it to shut me down. I built so many stories that I couldn't even accept love. I didn't even know what love was. When I was in a relationship with someone who was giving me love, I couldn't accept it. Most of us are like that. We can't accept love because we don't even know what it is. We built so many stories around it that it's not like love is just a conditional word. It's just a word now. It's a word that we hold with everything we have. Like, I'm not going to give this word away until I know with all of my heart that they love me back and they're going to reciprocate. That's condition. That's the biggest condition you could possibly make. That's taking a relationship and saying we're done. Basically, it's working backwards, right? So I'm bringing awareness to this at this point because many of us have known a backwards version of the truth. The truth of love is just be able to say I love you to everything and not question that. Not how to have a cold or condition or anything to an action to anything. We should be able to get to a place where there's no stories. We're not holding anything anymore. We're just being pure love. We're emanating that. We're embodying that. And by embodying that, we are that. We are love. We emanate love. We don't question, judge. We don't become uncompassionate to someone because they're not reciprocating. We don't take back. We don't hold back. We don't do anything like that. That's all lack. Lack brings more lack. Whatever the energy is we put out, we receive back. Holding judgments and holding conditions to love is actually holding us into a lower vibration. To raise our vibration, we've got to go in and find these stories and release them. They don't exist anymore. Stories are stories. They are made up from the past. Maybe it was real in that moment, but we're not seeing the full energy that we buried in the moment because we were either a victim to the situation or we held and buried something without speaking our truth or something to that effect. So in that, we have created a story from our side, not from both sides, not from the truth. And we've now created a story to carry with us so that we can build that into our identity as we move along through life. Again, this is where the self-love, the lack of self-love comes from. This is where just the misunderstanding of love comes from. As we start to release the conditions we hold towards love, you know, as I came through what they will call, or what we can call, Christed consciousness, it's just embodying the consciousness that say Christ had, or whatnot. We all can get to this place. It's a beautiful place. You become one with everything. You know, we keep going deeper and deeper into oneness and what that is. But at that point, for me, that was when I cried almost every single day with tears of joy, just with the re-understanding and the remembering of what love truly is, and what that feeling and that remembrance is, because it's everything. And as you remember that, you remember you're one with everything. We've just separated ourselves through stories and through belief systems, through other people. We've just taken on learned behaviors from everyone outside of us because we gave our power away when we were young. We gave our power away, and you know, as these situations happened, as people called us names, or we felt judged, or you know, whatever was happening, all these experiences were happening, and we were letting it beat us down, and we were closing off our voice. We were losing sight of the actual truth. The truth of how powerful we are. We hold so much power inside. When I say power, it's a remembrance. It's a remembrance of the power of truth and who we are, and that nothing has the power to become bigger than any one of us, because we've created everything. Nothing is separation. Everything is one. Everything is oneness. The more we remember this, the more powerful we become inside, because we remember. Again, I cried every day. I still cry. I still wake up. A week ago, I had this massive expansion where I cried for an hour in the car. It was one of the biggest cries I've ever had in my entire life, because I went into another level of oneness, another level of love that I didn't even know existed. It's infinite, and it just keeps going. But the more we release, the more powerful we become inside to take ourselves home, back to full consciousness, where everything is pure. Everything is love. Everything is compassion, trust, patience. There is nothing else, because we remember who we are. We remember that we're here to remember. To bring ourselves out of everything. To bring ourselves out of all these stories. To uncreate everything. We've created it, so we have the power to change, shift, and recreate from a much higher place. Self-love and love are one and one. If we are holding a condition to love to anything, or any person, place, or thing, then we are holding it with ourselves. When we become connected, and then we start to embody what true love is, we start to be able to look in the mirror and look at ourselves. Say, I love you. Can you look in the mirror and say, I love you? With your open eyes. Look right in the mirror, look right in your eyes, and say, I love you. Can you smile? What do you feel when you do that? For me, it didn't feel good a long time ago. You know, I'll recommend a beautiful practice to look in the mirror, and I've written this as well. Look in the mirror. Look at every single part of your body. Start with your eyes, your nose, your face, every single thing on your face, your body, your arms, your legs, your bum, all your parts, everywhere. Especially the places that don't feel good, and feel that. Now feel where that story was built. Was it built through a learned behavior? Did somebody say something to you that made you feel that you weren't worthy? That's what happened to me. I accepted that. That was my choice. I built those stories. That person actually had no right to say that to me. Oh, they did. I mean, we all have the freedom of speech, but the reality is, when someone's judging us to our face and it's coming out, they're judging themselves. We're all just a mirror for each other. We don't have to accept that judgment. It's our choice to accept the judgment as truth. It's our choice to react or respond. Reacting means we're just reacting all over the place. Responding means we've taken a second. We've centered ourselves, and we understand that we can respond with love and say, no, I don't agree with that. That's your choice to say that, but I'm not going to accept your judgment. We weren't taught these things. It's important to remember that we weren't taught these things, and not to be hard on ourselves, not to judge ourselves when we go through this process. The process of self-love can be very deep, profound, and cathartic, and it will be. It's going to rip us to our core. This is the core of our being. But as we start to remember, that there was nothing holding us back from true and pure love. It was just the stories. We release those beautiful stories. We become one with ourselves, and we now emanate that out. And it's like the ripple effect. Everyone around us feels this. And it activates inside of them. And it makes them want to do the same thing on their own without even knowing. This is how energy works. We embody and we share this with everyone, and it encourages everyone's energy to expand, open up, and activate so they can feel the same and find the same way. Excuse me. We are extremely powerful beings, and that's why I'm here to remind you. If I can say anything, say be as present as possible to yourself, to what makes you upset, to what brings in emotions. It'll usually, a lot of it will have to do with love and self-love, how we feel about ourselves. We can really beat ourselves down really well. We're probably the best at it. The reality is it's all come from outside of us, or it's come from inside of us, and it's just a story that we've made up based on other people saying things to us, and us receiving what they've said. We don't have to receive anything that doesn't feel good. That's always been a choice. And now I'm bringing awareness to the fact that you have a choice, and you've always had a choice, and you now have a choice. Make that choice. It's yours to make. Take that power back. This is why we're here. Close your eyes. Put your hands on your heart center, both hands on top of each other, in the middle of your chest, your heart chakra. Breathe in your head as you do this. Tell yourself you love yourself. Breathe out, releasing all that no longer serves your soul. Breathe in with the intention of remembering true love. Breathe out, releasing conditional love.